Hey guys, Derby Gamer here. Let's kind of talk a little bit about the Game Awards this year. So, my initial thoughts on the Game Awards this year, um, after watching it last night, I thought it was actually pretty decent. It was really, really decent. Like, the fact that, it could have been much worse than the previous years and the year before, I thought it was better than the last year. I thought it was better than last year. It was better than the previous year. It was better than 2020. You know, it was better all around. We had some really good announcements. We have new Borderlands coming out. We have the new Witcher, which I'm excited for. I love Witcher 3. Can't wait to play that game. We've had there's a new game coming out from Naughty Dog. The director that worked on Eco and Shadow Colossus is working on a new game. So I mean, there's been a lot of interesting announcements that I'm really excited for. And yeah, so overall it was pretty good. The one thing I will say about the Game Awards, the nominations, I mean, some of them, like most years, a lot of the nominations don't really make any sense, and some of them that won, I guess, didn't make sense either. But I mean, regardless, some of the games like that won was still pretty good. But in terms of like Game of the Year, so Game of the Year is like probably the one big main topic of this entire thing, because every single year people just only care about the game of the year. Myself included, I only care about the game of the year. Other than the announcements on new games coming out, whatever, the game of the year is probably like the main one that I care about the most. Like most people. Now, what game won Game of the Year? Now you can tell by my screen, Astrobot won, right? Out of all these games here. We have Bellatrix, Black Myth, Elden Ring DLC. I'm going to call it a DLC because it is a DLC. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then we have Metaphor. Now, Metaphor, I haven't played yet. Want to play it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I played the first one. Haven't played the second one. This is part 2 to it. Sorry about that. Black Myth, I heard a lot of people say it was really good. Bellatrix, I played a little bit of Bellatrix. It's actually pretty fun. I'm not crazy about card games, like a lot, especially like something like the fact it's kind of a blackjack kind of game, but it's it's still pretty good. Astrobot though. So, what are my thoughts on Astrobot winning Game of the Year? Well, I'm just gonna say this, that I'm actually kind of happy that Astrobot won this year. I know as much as some people don't like the idea that I say that, because obviously there's a lot of people that like the fact that Astrobot won, and there's also some people that wish it didn't win, right? Because obviously a lot of these games here that we're seeing, it could have been either or. Like, a lot of people wanted Black Myth Wukong to win, which I've not played it. I heard people say it's really good. People say it's kind of like Dark Souls a little bit. A lot of people wanted this game to win. And I get it, because it's a good game, right? But the one thing that I will say, though, like, I wanted Astrobot to win, me personally, because I thought Astrobot was actually a really good game. I will admit that Astrobot's a really good game. I really enjoyed Astrobot. Astrobot, to me, was a really, really good game. Like, to me, it was like, I love platformers. Like, platformers are probably, obviously, because I grew up with a lot of platformers. Platformers, to me, are super, super fun. They're probably, like, one of my favorite genre of games, in my opinion. The game is filled with so much nostalgic. It's definitely a homage to a lot of the PlayStation brands, like a lot of the franchises that they own, like, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper. Like, I can think of so many different franchises that Sony has that they referenced in there, and it was kind of a really good way to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the PlayStation brand. So, in my opinion, Astrobot definitely deserved the award, and people could disagree, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody's entitled to say what game should win. At the end of the day, I might say that Black Myth Wukong, sorry, I couldn't pronounce it. Black Myth could have not won. I could say that game should have never won. I don't like the game because it's not my kind of game. I could say that. But at the same time, if it won, it won. right? As much as I can get upset about it, I can respect people when they say, I want that game to win. And I get it. And I respect that, right? So, everybody's entitled to their own opinions on certain games. I don't think there needs to be a controversy over it. I don't think there needs to be more than what there is. Now, people can say, yeah, but weren't you upset about Last of Us Part 2 when it won? And you're right. I was upset when when Last of Us Part 2 won, because that game definitely didn't need to win. The game was a piece of shit, right? Like, it did shit in sales. It basically spit on the fans of that, like Last of Us, the original. Like, there's so many things that was wrong with it, right? And I entirely disagree in the idea that it won. But that being said, there might be people that probably wanted the game to win, right? And I could say to them, yeah, your opinion on why that game won was, you're wrong, but that's because that's just my opinion. That's just me saying, yeah, I think this game it should have never won. Like, you guys are wrong for saying this game won, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, I was very critical about it at the time, and I was pretty pissed that it won at the time. But however, it won, right? And we can all have different debates about that or not. And same thing with Astrobot. Everybody could say the game should have not won because of this many reasons, and it's a platformer, it's a kid's game, it started as a tech demo, it's nothing more than a tech demo. People could say that what it is, right? People could say that because they may not like the game. I know there's some people that don't like the game and said that it didn't deserve to win, because those type of people that say that it didn't need to win, I could say in that minority way, are the ones that never really played the game, that never actually cared for these kind of games anymore, right? And I get it, because it may not be to their own appeal. But that being said, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, right? So, yeah. So, Astrobot winning, I thought it winning was pretty good. I'm not upset about it. I think, despite how people feel about it and how they can have their own opinions about it, I still think Astrobot definitely deserved the win. I thought it was a fun platformer. It's definitely up there as one of my favorite games this year. It's definitely a game that, definitely deserved the win. A lot of these games here, even if they didn't win, I still think they still had a good chance. And, even if Metaphor didn't win, Metaphor I know won a lot of awards. I know Black Myth won. I think it won for Best Action Game, I think. That game still got a couple awards, right? So, even still, and same with, the only thing that I disagree with, and people can tell me how they feel about it, is the whole Elden Ring thing. I mean, I understand Elden Ring's a good game. I've never played it. It's not my kind of game. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I still don't think that it needs to be here because it's a DLC. But that's just me. But yeah, so that's my actual thoughts on the Game Awards. What I think about it. What I think of the Game of the Year. Yeah. So other than that, Game Awards wasn't bad. Still pretty decent, I would say. And yeah. So hopefully next year hopefully it'll actually be better. And I got nothing else to say. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.